Ghostrunner is a game where you are killing enemies and moving as fast as you can through the different cyberpunk levels in that big tower. But if you actually stop and look around, you can find many interesting little details and little things in the level design that just are weird, kind of quirky, or also cool and interesting. Because at the moment I'm developing my own game, Only Control, and Gostrunner is a big inspiration for Only Control. So I looked at the levels in Gostrunner. So let's just go through the first level of Gostrunner and look at those interesting little details. So let's go through the first level of the game. We look at our lovely hand and now we jump down at our first victim, and there are many more to come. So let's look at some details we see in Gostrunner and the level design itself. For the first detail we have to go fast around here because we see this drone flying out of here. A train comes. There, a reactor explodes right there. The train goes through this tunnel and disappears, and there we have smoke burning, everything broke down. So let's die and dissect this part right here. So the first thing we saw was this drone that flew through here. That's actually the drone of the climber girl we meet over the radio and after that in Gostrunner 2, because that is her drone, and her drone just flew away. I don't know where, but it definitely disappeared. And the other thing is, something just exploded right there. There is no reason why it exploded, it just exploded. But we saw this train, and this train is also very interesting because maybe we see it later on in the level again. But let's also look at some details at the starting area. Let's first look where Gostrunner actually comes from, because that is also pretty interesting. So let's climb up here like that, and then we come to this door right here. And this door is the door where Gostrunner comes from, runs up here and then kills the first guy down there. And the interesting thing is we can actually walk through this door in the Hell DLC, which also released for Gostrunner, because in the Hell DLC you play this section, you can actually look in the room where Gostrunner was and stepped out of, and then you will just go through this first part of the level. It's just a very short part, but more on that later, because at first we have to look at these lovely sausages, because I don't know why, but there are so many of these prop grills around the Gostrunner levels. There are just these grills with many sausages on them which glow pretty brightly, and you hear the burning charcoal under it. I don't know why that is, it just is that way. I don't know, maybe all the people in the tower just love to grill and love to eat sausages because there are grills everywhere. Also, something that maybe sticks out in Gostrunner is that there is trash everywhere. And this trash is also pretty weird because those trash bags have no collision and they just push down under you if you walk over them, so they don't obscure your vision. Just the trash bags do that. I don't know why. Another interesting detail is more trash with pizza and this pizza box right here. But the more interesting thing is this trash. More trash. Like behind this door right here. And this trash is like hiding something. But if you look down here, more trash. And trash which is floating. This trash is fake. It floats and there is no ground under it. There is more trash right here. Like, how do you not notice this if you decorate the level, that you just have floating trash which you can so easily see? But I think still people won't see that because they just run through the level. But if you look at the level and take some time, you will notice all these little things. Then next we have a train station right here, or a transit station. That's another interesting thing, because we see those transit stations throughout the many parts of Gostrunner and through many levels, and they have all different names. Like, this is a transit station, but Intertube stands up there, and then there's also another name on another thing, and there is also a QR code right here on those panels at that train stations. And also, like, no seats at the train station, you just have to stand and wait for your train. Then another interesting detail is right here. Why does it rain? Like, in here it doesn't rain, then you go here and it suddenly rains. Is the rain coming from up there? But you are like in a big tower. Why does it rain right here? Gostrunner is just so weird. And this door is also pretty interesting because that is actually the door you go through in the Hell DLC. Because you just run through this small section and then you go through there, because this section is actually closed down. There are some grates which close down here. Another cool detail is here the vent panels you see right here, and also sunlight. Like it looks like sunlight, at least to me, like it's very bright and you don't really see where it's coming from, but this definitely looks like sunlight to me, but I don't know if it is really sunlight. Then we have this turbine, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because where is the air going? But okay, some more sunlight. The last time we will ever see sunlight in Gostrunner, I believe, because I never noticed sunlight anywhere else in Gostrunner. Also, we have water at the bottom here, which is also new. There's also water leaking out of this pipe for some reason. Like, fix your pipes, man. Where did this pipe even go? Like, this pipe went up there, but this pipe doesn't have another piece it connects to or is broken off. Then we have another interesting section right here, because there we have some waiting chairs and those panels from the train station again, but no train station inside, just those telephone booths or the little devices with this glass dome over it. I don't know what it is, but it's pretty interesting, I guess. Let's look at this section right after that. Here we have to kill some enemies, and then we have like a pretty big elevator, but after those train station panels again. Another interesting detail is right here, because there is just a sword sticking in the trash, which is burning. I heard this is like the sword of an Overwatch character or something like that, but to me it just looks like a Ghostrunner sword, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense because we are Ghostrunner, but okay. We just have a hallway. It's broken down. Like, where did this hallway lead? Because we see where it would lead. It leads up there. The hallway would have gone up there, but then it broke down. Why it broke down, we don't know. Then we have another interesting thing right here. What are those houses? Like, that are some makeshift houses on the cliffside of an industrial zone of the tower. Like, there are so many houses. Why did the people need to build like those cliff hanging houses in the tower? Like, those houses don't make sense to me at all. And then we arrive in this section, and now we have another interesting thing, because I think that's the train that ran by at the start of the game, because now it stopped right there. I don't know why it stopped. It is just stopped right now, but now we can see that train again. Because there is another train in the way. But why did that train stop? We don't know. This is the broken thing we saw at the start of the game. Like, we still see some explosion going on. This thing is clearly broken, and that's just very interesting to look at. Now we traveled a lot closer to this broken down thing at the start of the game. But now the door closed and we are right here. And I like this little spot because, not the dead body right here, but I like this little spot because it's just so cozy to hang out in. We have some different shutters that are down, and then you come out of here and maybe go to work. Like, I don't know where you would have to go to work right here, because everything is like pretty broken down. Another little alcove just for trash. I also don't know where the light is coming from, because there is no light in there, but okay, that's not my problem. Another interesting thing, because of my game, when I design levels, when I place down a shelf, I have to put something on it. But the Ghostrunner devs were just like, boom, shelf, shelf, and that's enough. And another interesting thing is the graffiti right here, because that means the graffiti sprayer had to be first before the shelf was placed there, because otherwise he couldn't have sprayed that like that. But let's go into the first elevator, and that was the analyzation of the first level of Gostrunner. Yeah, and that was already it. That was the whole first level of Ghostrunner and all its little quirks and details. Like, comment and subscribe if you wanna see another level of Ghostrunner. And if you like Ghostrunner, you probably also like my game Only Control, which you can get right now on itch.io. Have a great day and bye bye!